Hello, Minnesota clients. It is late April here in the great state of Minnesota. That means two things that we love. Number one, warmer weather, sunshine, no more big snowstorms. And number two, Minnesota Common Course Catalog reporting. So this is a brief instructional video to tell you the updates we have that you need to make sure you are doing to successfully complete your 17-18 and in the future 18-19 Minnesota Common Course Catalog reporting. I'm going to go through these quite quickly. There is a couple links in the bottom of this video that you can use, also allow you to search for a few things as well. The first thing I want you to know is that you want to be able to go and look at the requirements that you need to complete for your Minnesota Common Course Catalog reporting. You can click the link at the in the description of this video, but it's just as easy to go out to Google or whatever it might be and type in MN MCCC, and I've already done it already, requirements. Just type that in, and I think the first thing that will come up is your Minnesota Common Course Catalog here. Click on that right there, and you will see all the information you need to know that's not JMC specific to the Minnesota Common Course Catalog. Now, what I want you to pay special attention to is this information right here. Reporting for 2017-2018 will open April 2nd, 2018. And here are the things that you need to know. So you, as the MCCC reporter in your school, need to know each one of these items listed right here. I do want to point out one thing that is different from before is K-8 used to only be English, language arts, and math, and now they've included other items as well. You need to make sure that you're submitting course grades for these items for K-8 and 9-12 as well, and any of these other requirements listed here as well. So make yourself very familiar with that. Now let's look at the JMC side of it. So if you've got a paper and pencil, you might want to take a couple notes as we're going through. The first thing we're looking at is that you need to edit your grade values to match your grades with the state values. How do you do that? You will go to grading, down to utilities, down to edit grade values. Grading, utilities to edit grade values. There's a new column here called state reporting grade. What you need to do is go through each of the grades that you are giving a student or teachers giving. So any grade that is given to a student as a course grade needs to match up with a state reporting grade. You simply come in here, start at the top of your list, edit. Then on the right hand side, I'm going to scroll over here. This is my I, as you'll see, for incomplete. Click on this drop down menu and you will see all the different options that are listed there. These options are not JMC options, they are Minnesota state reporting options. You cannot change them, you cannot edit them. You have to choose one of these options. If your grade doesn't match one of these options, you can talk to the state to see what you want to do with that. But the state is most likely going to tell you you have to choose one of these options. So here's my I will choose an incomplete right down here. And then I will come here and update this particular line. It's very important to make sure that after you edit one, here's my F, right? Come over here and choose my F, fail for no credit, that I click update. Right? You've got to click update to update that line. And you'll see as I do that, it puts the state grade in there. So if I had a 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't have one in here, but say I did, I'm going to come down here to my W. Let's say that matched up with a 1. You can come in here and choose, that's a 1, minimally accepted, right? Lowest passing grade, and I can update that and you'll see it matches over there. So every grade that's given needs to have a matching grade value. I wanted to add one more thing before I forget, and that is that you should enter those grade values in 17-18, obviously. But if you've already rolled up, do it for 18-19 as well. That way you won't forget. So you know how to change the school year in the top right-hand corner. Do it 17-18, save all those, and then go to 18-19 and do it for your 18-19 school year as well. The next thing to note that we have, and this is a really great update that we did here, is that we have the ability to look up course codes more easily in your data. So it used to be that you would come here and you download, I'm not exactly sure where this document is here. I think it's this one right here, the MCCC course classification catalog there, where you can look up all the different courses. I think there's 1,800 or more different course codes, and you'd have to find your course code. You really don't need to do that anymore because we made it much, much easier for you. You can go under Schedules, Course, to edit course data. You should be very familiar with the screen, Schedules, Course, to edit course data. And on your state-specific course tab, you'll see your course code is listed here. Now we've done two things. Number one, once you put the course code in, we'll affirm that it's the correct course code by putting the name of the course here. So when you put a course code in, it will tell you the course there. If you want to find a course, so let's find my algebra course here. So here is Algebra 1. right? If I want to find the corresponding course code, I can come in here now and I could type in the course code if I want to. It's a 5-digit number, so it could be 01059 or whatever 5 digits you would have there. But it's even easier to come here and type in algebra, ALGEB, right? And here is my algebra items that I can choose from. That way you don't actually have to know the course code. Isn't this beautiful? You can come and say, actually, this one right here is linear algebra, right? And then that will put in there. That's the course code. It'll fill in that course code for you and say linear algebra. Make sure to click save. So you sure can download that doc and cross-reference it if you want to. I would not. I would simply come in and put in the course codes that you know. If you need to change one, I would type in the course name. If it's helpful for you to have that downloaded doc to look at all of them, you sure can. But this is going to save people a lot of time. Okay, the next thing I want you to know, I'm going to go back out to the Minnesota Common Course Catalog screen from the Minnesota Department of Education, is as you look at this right here, early ed, K-8, 9, 12, and so on and so forth, you'll see, and I want to point out, you are only submitting course grades. You are not submitting standards and benchmarks. When MCCC came out, I think it was early 2015. It might be before that. I don't know the entire history of MCCC. But in 2015, they proposed collecting standards and benchmarks from school. They have put that on hold right now, so you will not be submitting or being asked to submit any standards and benchmarks information. So I want to be clear, all of your grade levels need to have course grades entered and submitted for the courses that are listed in these delineations right there. So do what you want, what you need to do there, but knowing that they have to be course grades. Okay, now I'll talk about course grades in just another minute, but I want to let you know you might have a student in your school that doesn't have all their grades in. Typically this would be a special ed student or maybe a student that's a transfer student, might be a student who is from a different country, whatever that might be. I don't know the specifics there. But if you have one of those students, we have another feature here under the Edit to the Student Data screen on Edit Student Data, where we have now a checkbox here called MCCC, right? Foreign exchange, that was the term I'm looking for. If you have, for example, a foreign exchange student, you could come in here and uncheck that for that student, and that student will not be reported for the Minnesota Common Course Catalog. Because as you probably know, if you go to a student's schedule, they need to have every course, it needs to have a grade to be sent into the state. Now, there's only 2 exceptions to that. Number 1, if that course, and I've only got 1 course for this kid, if that course does not have an MCCC code, it doesn't get sent to the state. Or number 2, if that kid is in that course, but you don't want to send that entire student's file in, you're exempting that student from Minnesota Common Course Catalog reporting, you can uncheck this MCCC right here. So those are the 2 options that you have listed there for you, but this is a brand new box, MCCC. Don't want a kid included, uncheck that and click save, and then that will make sure that student is not captured when you capture those particular items listed there. So a handy tool for you. Okay. The last thing I want you to know is that you need to make sure, again, that every student has a grade for every course that has a Minnesota Common Course Catalog code. What's the easiest way to do that? Number 1, and you might laugh at this, but this is super important because we've had this question a lot. You can't report grades for a year until your school year is done and all the grades are in the office. So it's April. I can't report my 17-18 grades yet until May or early June when all the teachers have sent all the grades for all the courses. So that might sound funny, but we want you to know you can't submit a grade, you can't submit the file for your students until all the grades in are from all the teachers. How do you know if they're all in? Easiest way to know is to go under Grading, Reports, down to Grade Distribution. Grading, Reports, down to Grade Distribution. What I do then is you'd want to come here and say for, and I might even put, you could do it for each quarter. I'm going to run it for quarter 1, but you'd want to do this for each quarter. You're going to preview that and you're going to say, all right, excuse me, which courses, and I've got a small course list here, have items where it says none. What this report is originally in there to see is how many A through Fs were given. But we also tell you how many courses or students have no grade submitted. So I look at this and say Algebra 1 here has 2 kids that don't have a grade, right? You don't want to submit your file with the student's grades until there's a 0 in this column because Algebra is going to be a class that is submitted to the state. The only exception would be, of course, if you had 2 kids that were not reported for MCCC. But run the grade distribution. You want to see almost all zeros in the none column, meaning that all the kids have been grades, unless it's a course that is not reported to the state for the Minnesota Common Course Catalog. When you go here under Minnesota to MCCC, and you come here to your student file, you can get an error, right, saying that there is not a grade sent in for a particular student or whatever it might be in there. Okay, this is after you would submit your file, or even if you would check the errors as well. But if it's saying, hey, there's no course listed there, it means, or excuse me, there's no grade for this particular student. It means that that student doesn't have a grade. So the easiest way to save yourself trouble moving forward is make sure that you have all the grades in for all the students. So I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call us at tech support. And also, again, make yourself familiar with this Minnesota Common Course Catalog item on the Minnesota Department of Education website. I also want to make one other note, and that is that anybody who's done MCC reporting in JMC knows how valuable our documentation is. So if you haven't done so already, you want to make sure to go to our website, jmcinc.com, again, jmcinc.com, under Resources, down to Documentation. Our documentation team is always updating information for Minnesota. You can go to State Reporting and download the Attendance Minnesota doc. That's one place you can download that. Another great place you can go is on our State Reporting page on our website here. Again, very much up to date here. Minnesota is the first tab, and you can see this information here. Download the Minnesota State Reporting documentation, some other information that we have here. It's also at the top. So obviously we think it's valuable because we're telling you all kinds of places you can find it. Here's Early Ed, Mars, MCCCs right here. It's going to take you down here. When you click on MCCC, it's going to have you the video, not this video, but the original instructional video, the Minnesota State Reporting doc. And here we tell you, page 7 is this, page 35 is the documentation, flow chart is Appendix D and E. Make sure to download this. At a minimum, download it to a PDF and have it on your desktop ready to go. And then you can either consult the table of contents, which is great. But again, we try to really make it easy for you at JMC. So we make sure to put down there for you what the pages are right here for you, so you can find the information that you want. Because especially when it comes to almost everything, but in particular MCCC reporting, having the great documentation ready and in front of you is going to save you lots of time in the long run. And combining that with this page from the MDE is going to save you lots and lots of times throughout this entire process. Please enjoy this beautiful spring weather and enjoy your Minnesota Common Course Catalog reporting.